Hey, it's Sam. In the early morning hours of October 8th, we're going to have the first eclipse that occurs with the nodes in the Virgo-Pisces axis. It's going to be a lunar eclipse in Pisces with the moon join the south node, Ketu, in the nakshatra of Revati. Now, the nodes moved into the Pisces-Virgo axis in July of this year, and we haven't had any eclipses yet. This is the first eclipse, so we're now going to really start to feel the effect of having the nodes in the Virgo-Pisces axis, because they set up shop there, sort of, but then we don't really feel the effect so much until we start having the eclipses there, because that's what the nodes are. So this is the first eclipse in that transit of Rahu and Ketu through the Pisces-Virgo axis. Now, this is happening, of course, because the sun is joined Rahu in Virgo, so the moon is getting eclipsed in Pisces by Ketu, the south node. So this axis of Virgo-Pisces has to do with bringing materiality into the abstract, or bringing abstraction into materiality. What you might call practical mysticism, practical being Virgo and Earth, and mysticism being being Pisces and Jupiter type energy. So uniting the practical with the mystical is the big challenge for the next year and a half or so, and wherever that falls in your chart, whichever axis Virgo and Pisces fall, is going to be really lit up now with this eclipse. And by the way, the members of my astrology site also have me talk about this relative to their chart. Now, you know, this eclipse, this lunar eclipse in Pisces, is going to have a kind of psychological, emotional effect on us. They say for about the next 6 months, because the next time the moon is eclipsed, it's going to be eclipsed by Rahu in Virgo. So Ketu in Pisces eclipsing the moon is very important right now. So Ketu is about the past, and the wisdom of the past, the buried and hidden wisdom. All of our past lives, all of our subconscious and unconscious mind has to do with Ketu. It's enormously powerful and very overlooked and quite mysterious, because it's all that stuff that's not part of our conscious memory or conscious experience. And a lot of that actually has to do with Rahu, but we're going to talk about Ketu now. But it's the moon being eclipsed by the south node. So the moon is the feeling of being alive. It's the Jiva Atman, it's the part of us that is related to the heart and consciousness itself, as far as how consciousness feels to us. Pure consciousness is the sun, but our personal experience of that is the moon. The moon is really how the universal energy of the sun and the Atman mixes with the separate self and the personal experience that we experience through the heart in the moon. So the moon is the seat of the jiva and the mind and our personal experience of the mind and consciousness. And so it sounds like a lot, and it is, because it's like the opening through which everything comes into us. So the way we experience the moon is that usually through the agency of emotions, because we're living in the present moment, and emotions are our heart in conjunction with the moment. The moment creates a feeling in our heart that we experience as emotion. We feel that in the moon, but of course, just like our heart is much deeper than just the emotions in the moment, the moon is much deeper than just the emotions itself. It's the heart. Just like the waves are the surface of the ocean, but the ocean is very deep and vast and goes all the way down. This is a metaphor for the moon. We hardly ever experience the moon in clarity and peace, because we're riding up and down on the waves of emotion. So with this full moon, it could be very similar, because the moon is bright and it's full and it's really amped up. This is what eclipses do, or this is even what full moons do, but eclipses make it even more powerful. And in fact, we enter this portal where the orbits of the sun, moon, and earth are all aligned. That's what the eclipses are. That's why they're so powerful, because the orbits of the sun, moon, and earth are rarely ever aligned. But on eclipses, all three line up. So it's an enormous opportunity for body, mind, and soul. Body is earth, mind is moon, and soul is the sun, to be congruent and aligned around certain principles. And in this case, it's the principles of Pisces and bringing the metaphysical and perceiving the metaphysical and the abstract in our mind and consciousness. Perceiving the beauty of that, the beauty of existence, and feeling it in our mind and consciousness, and letting go of the tangle of materiality that keeps us stuck in this illusion of form. Now we're going to have the solar eclipse next week. It's actually going to be in Libra. It's not going to be in Virgo because the sun will have moved into Libra. But opposite that lunar eclipse is the solar eclipse. So right now we get the lunar message. We need to have it sink into our mind and consciousness that we are a metaphysical universal being and feel that. Not just some personal experience of it. You know, we run everything through the personal experience of, I am a metaphysical being, so how can I get love? So how can I make money? So how can I live a worldly life as a metaphysical being? All of this is still I. Try to forget the I for, for a week. Or, in fact, you're probably feeling much less I. It's very possible, especially as the moon gets closer to being eclipsed. Letting go of that whole tether of the body-mind consciousness mechanism is a big thing right now. In a more worldly and practical sense, it's a great time for devotion, for devotional practices to our guru, service, creativity. Pisces is about really sensing that we're part of a big mystical, magical ride, and to serve those who need help. Now the nakshatra here is called Revati, which is ruled by the god called Pushan. And according to myth, Pushan had his teeth knocked out at a party by Lord Shiva. He got upset because